Hello and welcome to all. We do our best to control the origin of what we put on our plates. But sometimes the danger comes from foods that we didn't even suspect. Do you really know what you are eating? Sit back and relax. Here is an incredible list of foods we eat every day that can be dangerous. In a seaside restaurant on a sunny day or just at home, nothing makes you want to eat more than a good seafood salad. Shellfish are usually eaten raw or just pearly. I think you've already been tempted to gobble up a raw mussel or clam at your local fishmonger. So good and irresistible, that we forget where they come from. In fact, mollusks and crustaceans live mainly on the shore and are therefore very exposed to sewage and animal excrement. These little creatures absorb a good number of bacteria such as salmonella as well as several viruses responsible for more or less virulent diseases such as gastroenteritis or hepatitis A. However, this does not prevent us from ignoring their less than stellar origins and making them the stars of our summer dishes, even if it means making a detour to the hospital or suffering from acute diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. Rest assured, you can still enjoy your favorite seafood without fearing the worst, by opting for advanced cooking. This will certainly attenuate the strong taste of iodine that characterizes them and that you like so much, but I advise you to be satisfied with this solution while waiting for better days. If I tell you, a good relaxing evening with friends or family, you inevitably think of the aperitif, and this goes hand in hand with a well-stocked cheese board. Ah, cheese. Pressed or soft, with a sweet or strong smell, it never leaves you indifferent and awakens your taste buds. If you love cheese, let me tell you the story of this young American girl whose guilty pleasure has always been cheese, and how I understand her. Unfortunately, it led to her downfall. After eating a piece of all-out soft cheese, the young woman had a headache and diarrhea accompanied by severe muscle pain. She called the emergency room but died on the way to the hospital. Sad fate for this lover of good cheese. Should we stop eating it? Well, we won't go that far. But you should know that every time you taste a raw milk cheese such as Roquefort, Gruyere, Morbier, or Reblochon, you run the risk. Because to make this type of cheese, we have to do without the pasteurization process, which consists in heating the milk and cooling it very quickly to remove several bacteria responsible for the most serious tuberculosis. Add to that the microbiota that form during the fermentation process that allows us to obtain cheese as we know it. We can only say welcome to the dangers. On the other hand, cheese remains an exquisite product, which we cannot do without. What you have to do is to choose pasteurized products. And if you can't resist the temptation of certain types of cheese that are made only from raw milk, choose trusted cheesemakers. Do you know anyone in your immediate or distant circle who doesn't like potatoes? I doubt it. Indeed, the potato is one of the favorite vegetables of young and old. Contrary to all expectations, the potato can kill you, and not because it has always been associated with junk food, but rather because it may contain solanine, an enzyme inhibitor that can be very dangerous to your health if consumed in large doses. You are probably wondering which potatoes contain this harmful substance. Then I will answer you. All of them. Yes, all of them can contain solanine if they are kept under a light source. Solanine is the greenish part that can be seen on the surface of some potatoes. And if you have the misfortune to eat it, you may suffer from headaches, diarrhea, and respiratory difficulties. It is not enough to just cook the potatoes well to get rid of the solanine. Don't panic either. Just remove the green parts of your vegetable and you'll be safe. And there you have it, delicious potatoes just for you. A can of canned tuna sitting in the pantry, a classic and a standard in almost every household. Raw in sushi or sashimi, cooked or canned ready to use, it's tasty, full of vitamins, and inexpensive. This fish proudly graces salads, quiches, and other easy-to-prepare delicacies. It should be eaten in moderation, not for dietary reasons, but rather because it is one of the fish that is highly contaminated by mercury. This heavy metal accumulates in high concentrations in this fish because it is at the top of the aquatic food chain. The fish ingests it in small quantities each time it has a prey between its teeth. And since we humans are at the top of the food chain, we are at risk of heavy metal contamination every time we eat tuna. That said, we should not banish this fish from our plates under the pretext of avoiding succumbing to any mercury contamination. Because it is a source of a multitude of components that are essential to the good health of everyone. Just don't eat 10 cans of canned tuna a week and share your sushi platter whenever you get the chance. Rice. This cereal is the perfect accompaniment to many dishes, from the simplest to the most elaborate, and reminds you of the dietary meals of athletes. From curry rice to Cantonese rice to sushi, rice is the ally of budding cooks and top chefs. So get cooking, put your rice in a pan, and the inspiration to prepare what will accompany it will come naturally. Wait a minute. Not so fast. I haven't told you everything yet. You must have seen rice fields in real life or on TV, they are always flooded. Rice cultivation is unique because it requires fields with large volumes of water. And you surely know that because of pollution, the soil is increasingly contaminated by dangerous substances such as arsenic, a deadly poison that was once the ally of the most terrible serial killers. You see, depending on the country and the type of crop, the way rice is grown increases the rate of arsenic absorption. But don't panic, you can still prepare and enjoy your rice. Just rinse it well and cook it in a large volume of water, which will reabsorb all the arsenic. It took several cases of contamination for us to realize the dangers to our health. But today there is almost no need to worry. As long as you cook your rice in large volumes of water, everything should be fine. What a great feeling. The gentle morning breeze with your hot cup of coffee in your hand. Some prefer it strong, others lighter. And unless you're British, you're probably more coffee than tea. I'm not going to go on and on about the benefits of coffee, you should experience it at least once a day. I'm not going to list the dangers of caffeine addiction either, you should know them inside out. Instead, I'm going to tell you a story, true but true to life. In the American state of South Carolina, Davis Allen Crispy, 16, orders a large latte, the kind you can only get in the United States. So far nothing very interesting, but don't be in a hurry. Our teenager gulped down his cup of coffee. Although he had been well only a few seconds before, our protagonist was already lying on the floor, dead. He had died of a heart arrhythmia. He was unconscious and had drunk 2 energy drinks containing high levels of caffeine earlier in the day. It was not an overdose of caffeine, the coroner said later. We're not saying it was the level of caffeine in his body that caused the cardiac arrhythmia, but the fact that it was ingested in a short period of time and that he drank each drink in one sitting. This story was not meant to dissuade you from drinking coffee, but to alert you to the dangers of overconsumption of the beverage. According to many experts, people, especially younger ones, simply need to be careful about how they consume caffeine, just as they do with alcohol or cigarettes. If you too can't stop yourself from snacking between meals, you'd better have some cashews with you because they're healthy, tasty, and very filling. However, if you eat it raw, it can threaten your life, because it contains urushiol, a very dangerous poison. So dangerous that people who handle it raw, especially farm workers in charge of shelling it, usually suffer from burns on their hands. However, it is unlikely that you have ever come into contact with untreated nuts. Otherwise, it would not have gone unnoticed. No need to worry. The cashews in the shops are never raw, they have been steamed before they hit the shelves. I can only encourage you to eat more cashews, it will do you better than harm. The cherry is a fruit that can only be found on the shelves for a very short period of time during the year, namely between the months of May and July, which makes it a very coveted fruit. With its beautiful red color, you would never suspect that the cherry contains cyanide. The cherry pit contains amygdalin, a substance that, if consumed in large doses, turns into cyanide. But why eat the pits? We only have to be satisfied with the flesh. That's true. But if you happen to bite into the pit by accident, you'll be tempted to do it again because it's so incredibly sweet. And that's how some people have been contaminated with cyanide by eating cherries. In the end, I recommend you enjoy your cherries without restriction as long as you stop at the flesh. Fish is a product of the sea that can be eaten raw, fried, grilled, or stewed. Almost as many dishes can be prepared as there are fish in the oceans. As a source of minerals, good protein, and many vitamins, you are no doubt aware of the health benefits of eating it. Delicious and healthy, you have to eat it every day then. 100 years ago you could have done that without any problem, but in the current state of the oceans, it may be a very bad idea. It would be like swallowing a good dose of endocrine disruptors, neurotoxins, and a cocktail of potentially carcinogenic products. Contrary to popular belief, it is not plastic waste that contaminates and harms fish the most, but rather, the plastic microfiber particles that escape from our clothes into the drains with each wash. We will stick to the recommendations of nutritionists who recommend eating fish twice a week, in order to take advantage of its benefits while minimizing the health risks. Research is underway to find a solution to clean up the oceans. For your part, you can start by installing a microfiber filter in your washing machine to lessen your negative impact on seafood and hopefully eat fish without restriction in the future. So do you really know what you're eating? Tell us in the comments which of these foods surprised you the most. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all the notifications and not miss anything of our next contents. See you tomorrow, same time, same channel for a new video.